vehicle is not like that.
Sit down.
No.
You sit down. Get on the ground.
No. See, sir. No.
Welcome back to Internal Affairs, a police podcast here with your host, Marlon Marrache, a.k.a. the IA guy, the Internal Affairs guy, short IA guy. We didn't let Daniel go too far because we're bringing him back. Code 6 with Daniel. Hey, man, thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.
The reason why I got a hold of you is because I did see the article about Mr. Vu. If you recall, I did a breakdown on Mr. Vu with an Oklahoma City PD officer that happened back in October. And the video pretty much depicts it was a traffic accident where the officer was having this conversation with the 71-year-old Mr. Vu. And at some point, there was this language barrier, and he taps him by his ribs and the side of his chest, and says, sheet up, like, be quiet. I suppose Mr. Vu wasn't happy with whatever it is that the officer was saying. I think it was a sergeant. You can correct me on that, Danny. However, next thing you know, 1-2, boom, takedown. He suffers a broken neck and, ends up in a hospital. It's just a sad case because when it came out, everybody was just like, you know what? I mean, burn this guy. And they did. They filed criminal charges. However, to bring you up to date, I got to read this for you. So come December 28th, the charges were dropped by the Attorney General. And this is what the Attorney General, Gentner Drummond, said, quote, as Attorney General, I will not permit Oklahoma police officers to face criminal prosecution for conduct adhering to their training, Drummond said in that statement. You know what? Let's start with that. Training. So you can agree with me, Daniel, that your police department will never send you to enough training. What do you think?
That's 100% correct.
And what we don't know is the last time, I forgot his name. Was he a sergeant?
He was, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a sergeant, right? I forgot. What we need to know, what I would like to know is, what was the last time this sergeant went to a use of force updated training course? I'm willing to bet it probably didn't happen in the last couple of years. I don't know. I'm assuming. But my point is, okay, fine. We get it. No criminal prosecution in regards to the training. Maybe that's an analysis that the DA's office did. However, you tell me. Now we're in the admin portion. What do you think?
Yeah, so again, when it comes to the criminal charges, if the Attorney General says that the officer didn't violate the law, I'm in no position to question that, then fine, the officer didn't violate the law. So when we're talking about anything administratively when it comes to use of force, most police departments, especially a large department like Oklahoma City, as part of their use of force policy, they're going to say that police officers, not only does the force have to be objectively reasonable, but they're going to require a police officer to do a couple things before force is utilized unless feasible. And, where I would probably focus in as an internal affairs investigator is I would look at, so after Mr. Vu taps the sergeant, then, essentially there isn't any other conversation after that. There's no indication that you're under arrest. There's no directions or commands to place your hands behind your back or really giving Mr. Vu any opportunity to comply, which is okay. Police officers can do that, but they're supposed to take these extra steps to give people an opportunity to comply if feasible. Looking at this from an objective standpoint, it does look like it probably would have been feasible for a police officer to have that conversation with Mr. Vu, that there wasn't any other kind of immediate threat that the officer was facing in that moment.
Very well said. I would only add to the buzzwords that I always say is substantial deviation to department tactics, policy, and procedures. Part of this internal affairs administrative compelled interview is going to be, okay, so is there deviation? In other words, did you substantially deviate? Well, let's go with deviation first. Did you deviate from any tactics that you used in the past? And part of that analysis and deviation is, okay, well, he's a 7. I get it. You don't know how old he is at the time, but he's an older man. 1, 2, does he pose a threat? No. Is this conversation escalating to the point where you have to use some de-escalation? No. Did you at any point cooperate with Mr. Vu when he said, hey, let me go? Because I know in the video it says, let me go show you, right? He kind of makes his hand gesture like, let me show you what I was doing. And I get it. Some of us, I've been there before. We don't have time to be passing judgment or like hearing you out about what you think this traffic violation is. However, you know what? Maybe sometimes you got to take the time and just hear them out, right? That could be the case. So if there's deviation and the answer is yes, okay, is it substantial? And if it is substantial, how do you measure that? Well, bro, you took him down with a lot of force, or maybe you didn't. I don't know. But is that substantial? And if it is, you know what? Chances are we're going to jam you up and do an IA. And I don't know what the ongoing penalty, but I would frame an allegation. And, you know, I love as much as I love to defend cops. I've been on both sides of the table. I'm not, my audience knows this, but there's got to be an allegation. And there's something along the lines like while on duty, used unnecessary force, on Mr. Vu. Something along those lines. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, so my thoughts are exactly that this is going to be investigated by internal affairs. I think the allegation or the possible charges administratively the officer could face are probably something like unnecessary force. And, I think it just depends. So if this is, so a lot of times when it comes to, if those allegations are sustained against the sergeant, they're going to look at, okay, well, what sanction is it? Is it something that the sergeant can be fired for? Is it days off? Is it training? They're going to look at the sergeant's history. Okay, in the last 12 months, has this happened before? If not, then, it's probably not going to be the most severe penalty.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't think this is a termination type of an incident. I do know that, you're going to get jammed up for this. Hopefully there's a lot of lessons learned. I would hope the sergeant knows that perhaps next time there's just, look, I don't want to be critical and scrutinize what he did. It's done. Chances are a lot of people probably would have used, I don't know, maybe the takedown. Some will, some not. But you got to think about it a little bit more. There's got to be a little more, part of de-escalation that we talk about is time. Is it time of the essence or do you have time? And I suppose in this case, you have a lot of time, man. You're conducting this traffic investigation and you guys are having this conversation. However, it's kind of broken because maybe there's a language barrier and he's getting pissed off. You're getting frustrated. Next thing you know, boom, you take him down and he suffers all these injuries. Anyhow, any parting words that we missed that you may have about this incident? Because I know it's super important. I wanted to give the audience an update.
Yeah, so what I want to say about this is that this officer is lucky that he works in Oklahoma because we've all seen cases where police officers have used less force and they're terminated and prosecuted. So this guy, he's absolutely lucky that he works in Oklahoma.
Yeah. And we still don't know the outcome, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, we'll stand by. Daniel, Happy New Year, bro. Thanks for coming back, and we will see you soon. And I know you're going to come to Los Angeles, man.
Absolutely.
Definitely would love to have you here, and we'll break something down. Hey, like always, please be safe out there, and don't forget to go Code 6. Thank you.